think it was February, and that same day I got baptized. And,
good day. That's a good day. Thank you, Jesus. Let's go. Oh man, that is so cool, bro. Let's talk about it because I know we shared about it a little backstage. It was so public. I mean, you were breaking off. You were on a tear this year, and then right there at the end, it was like, hey, you know what? I'm not going to go for the record. I'm going to rest my body. I'm going to give other guys reps. Not only that, even in the playoffs, when you took the slides instead of going all the way to the end. I mean, you were the epitome of a team player. Can you talk about your mindset and all that? Because, bro, I mean, we've all been watching the NFL for years. I mean, you know, ego kind of gets you there, but that humility is what you expressed on the biggest stage in the world, and the lights were on you. Can you talk about your journey through that decision and what that looked like?
Yeah, for the play or the game where I sat out and had an opportunity to go back and beat my personal record, was it tempting? Of course. Was I back in MetLife Stadium against the Giants and could have really stuck it to them, I guess. That's not, I don't know. I guess I gotta give credit to my parents because they're the ones who raised me. That's not what I'm about. Don't get me wrong, I'm the ultimate competitor. I wanna beat, if I'm playing Madden with my nephew, I'm trying to beat him 60-0. That's who I am as a person, of course. But when you look at it, a lot of you guys don't get to see like the inside scoop of us in training, and you'll see a game where I'll have like 30 touches, but like I do play football, and every time you get hit, it's kind of like you get in a car accident. So your body needs to rest and your body needs to recover. And who do you think are those guys that are helping me out during the week? That's Kenny Gainwell, that's Will Shipley. And at that moment, the game is put away. Kenny G's, on a one-year contract. He needs film to be able to go out there, and so he can provide for his family. Will Shipley, who I'm very high on, is a rookie. He needs reps. So I wouldn't change that at all. If I can go back to that moment, I'll do the same exact thing.
Talk to me, you talked about your parents. Talk to me about the mentors that you had in your life. Who have been some of the biggest inspirations in you that kind of where you've gotten today?
Yeah, so first starts with my parents, my mom and my dad. Blessed, fortunate enough to have both of them in my life, healthy and together. I think of any high, any low moment in my life, they always have my back. And then mentors, I kind of have, different lanes. If I have the team, we have a therapist I can go to. I started doing that this year, which I feel like was really helpful for me a lot of times. Especially football players, we think we gotta be tough and be this and do that. And it's okay to go out there and have conversations and learn about yourself. Got a trainer, Ryan Flurry, who's trained with some of the greats, Serena, Kobe, Tiger, all these greats. So when it comes to that point of my career or in that lane of sports, going to him, and then the Bible work and learning the Bible and getting more to my faith. I would say one of my best friends and my stylist, Joshua Fix, and then my agent, Ed Bear.
That's awesome. I love it. Okay, yeah, good. So, like you said, I mean, when you talk backstage, you're like, look, 30 carries a game, you're like, you're still human, even though you look superhuman on the field. And when that side of that human side when it comes to beliefs, maybe limiting beliefs that will creep in, maybe internally, externally for you, what's the mindset or the kind of the practices that you use to kind of help you break through when you maybe hit some of those barriers?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I think that's why growing into your faith is important. I blew my knee out in 2020, so 4 or 5 years ago, and where I'm at in my journey, in my life, I wasn't there at that time. And if I felt like if I had the mindset I had today, that would have been way more easier. But you need to go through things. You need to have your ups and your downs. You need to have your failures. All that stuff has to happen for you to be able to grow. For me now, it's more like just just techniques I would use. Like before, I was always so negative, and that just happens in our sport. Like if I would mess up, I'd be like, like I might even curse at myself. I might even say things I shouldn't be saying to myself. Now it's more of like the mindset of just trying to be positive and just saying that, hey, I didn't make that play. Guess what? I'm gonna make a play next time. I had a situation in the same game where I jumped over the dude backwards. I fumbled that game, and no one talks about that because I ended up playing better. I had the same exact fumble the year before on Sunday Night Football when I was in New York against Green Bay, and when I had that fumble, I was devastated. I was like, well, this is the game. We end up winning the game, but even in that moment, like when we had to go back on the field, I wasn't ready because I was so in my head. And now this time, and that's why it's a beautiful thing to have people you can trust and lean on. And my coach, Moss Singleton, who's also been really good at helping me in my faith. I fumbled the ball, and he kind of looked at me and he smiled. I took my sleeve off because I shouldn't be wearing a sleeve. And he was like, so what? And I just went out there and I continued to go back and ball.
That's good. That's so good. So it just sounds like, I mean, here's the craziest thing. I mean, obviously, everybody watched you in college, you were the best. You know, the Giants, you were so good. But even then, you're at the highest levels. You're at the highest levels, right? But you're still on a wrestle. But then God just kind of grabs you, gets your heart in that moment. Can you talk about, because I think a lot of times we're like, oh man, Saquon's got the world by the tail. But even in those, like, through your knee and through all the hard things, can you talk about like what God was doing in you in that transformation when it all kind of, you got all, you're getting baptized. This was a year and a half, 2 ago, when you got baptized?
3 months ago.
3 months ago. Okay, three months ago.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so can you mind kind of walking through like that?
Yeah.
Whatever you want to share?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's life, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna have your ups and downs. There's gonna be things that you question. You just gotta learn and you gotta try to figure it out for yourself. And I think my family dynamic was really helpful. My father grew up from a Muslim household, was a Muslim, and my mother grew up Christianity. So I kind of had both dynamics growing up, and nothing was ever forced on me. Always allowed me to be my own person and allowed me to, grow and search and find out and figure it out myself. And, it took me 28 years to figure it out, but, rather now than never, right? So I think I'm a big believer in the second that I made my mind up that I want to follow Christ, there's no coincidence I have the best year of my life.
Let's go.
That is crazy.
I don't think it's an accident at all. And I believe success is not an accident, and I don't believe, me falling into my faith is an accident. I believe me coming to Philadelphia, everything happens for a reason. And I don't think if I still was in New York, I might have transitioned to this way. But it's a beautiful thing, and I used to be the guy that, was judgy. And once you learn what Christianity is, and once you learn that we're all sinners, and we're always going to fall short of it, it helps you. You find grace in that, and it's been very helpful for me now, and I still fight that every single day. There's so much that I got to work on, and there's so much that I can continue to improve. And like I said, I want to be that example, not just as a football player, but like to my daughter. I want to be able to, open up the Bible and tell her about this verse or that verse and break it down. And I'm not there yet, but it's a challenge that I'm willing to set.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, we talk about leadership at the highest levels and what, but for you, it sounds like the most important place that you're leading is at your house. And it's not an accident. I'm sure your daughter, not on her own, just want to be a minister, or, out there around the world serving God. It's got to be from you and what you guys are doing at home. So can you talk about how important leading your family is for you?
Yeah, it's super important to lead your family. But to be honest, like I said, I'm just starting to figure it out myself. That stems more from my fiance Anna. That stems from sending her to a Catholic school, now sending her to a Christian school, and it's just everyone has their own calling. Like for me, when I went to school, science didn't hit too well, math didn't hit too well. I love history for some reason. For her, it's the gospel. Like, she just loves it. We pray at night, we talk about it. She asks me all these great questions, and then like as a father, you're like, you try to answer it to the best of your ability, but all the answers are right there. So it's like I gotta challenge myself to try to learn it better for her and better for myself. And as I grow and I have this platform to be able to inspire others to try to follow the same path.
That's good. Awesome. All right, so let's talk. You've had coaches, you've had mentors, you've had influential people in your life. Who's probably been the biggest mentor in your life? And maybe what's a lesson that they taught you along the way?
Man, that's a good question. The reason why it's so hard to answer that is I'm so blessed. I've had so many great people in my life, and I still have so many great people in my life. And when you have a lot of people that are, in my situation of athletes, that you got people pulling in this direction, that direction, and it's not all for the right reasons. I generally just say, like, in my circle of trust, in my circle of people, they all got my back, and they all got my back when I'm at the high, win the Super Bowl, or when I'm doing something I'm not supposed to do, they're gonna check me too. So it's like I can't just point out one person, but if I had to fall down to, I gotta go with my mom and my dad. Just the lessons that they taught me and helped me grow as a man and a father and a person.
That's great. I love it. All right. Well, I have one question, but before the one question, are you guys gonna do back to back?
That's a great question.
Let's do it.
Probably not that. That's a great question, right? I have to answer this wisely.
Yeah.
Coach Sirianni's gonna be up here later.
But ask coach.
Of course, that's the goal. Everybody comes to the season with the mindset of wanting to win a Super Bowl. Yeah. And what I've learned is getting to that mountaintop is hard, but staying there is even harder. We've been doing a lot of things and exercise and have people come in and talk to us about sustained success. But the beauty of our team is we have a lot of great athletes, a lot of great players, but we're all still hungry. So,
All right. Last question. We're talking about life surge, talking about surge in our life, God's way. What does that mean for you?
I look at it as, I try to simplify things for me. And if I want to go out there and have an MVP season or go out there and perform at the highest level, I got to put the work in. If I don't show up to OTAs, if I'm skipping reps, if I'm doing all the things I'm not supposed to do, I'm not going to go out there and have a successful season. So for me, it's staying in the Word, doing my Bible studies, just trying my best every single time to continue to follow it and learn and really indulge into it. Because when you're not doing it, you can find yourself having thoughts that you shouldn't be having. You can find yourself doing things that you shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
And when I am continuing to work with her, when I'm continuing to do Bible study with my agent, it's just better for me. My life feels better, my decisions are clearer, my actions are better. Like anything I want to do, I don't have to second guess it. So for me, it's just continue to put the work in, and that's the best thing I can do, and I can continue to do a better job of that.
Awesome.
So we show some love to SAQUON.
Thank you guys so much. SAQUON, everybody!